Hello, friend.
Um, ooh, I had the perfect intro and now it's like gone. But
Well,
that's okay.
I
But
was just gonna say it's another Friday, and it's definitely
no,
Wednesday.
it's
So I don't know how to start this.
um okay. Well, I want to start with jumping right in with what you and I had talked. Well, no, not jumping right in. One step before, we were just checking in. We just hopped on Zoom to check in. Do we actually want to record? And um, we both said yes, let's do it, and we agreed. Even though both of us are not feeling on top of the game today for different reasons. And I said to you, that is actually, I think, the reason why we really should, or why I want to record. And in my mind, it connects to our topic for today, which is to explore, like, what are we even wanting to capture here? Like, what are we doing and why?
Hmm.
And we know some of those things already, but I think we might not have really articulated that even for us. So this isn't like a, you know, let us tell people who might be watching what we're doing here, but like, can you and I think through what are we trying to capture here?
Yes.
Um, and and one of those things for me, okay, now I need to take even one more step back. We've recorded two different things today already, and after the first one, I wasn't feeling great about what was happening. And after the second one, you were like, I'm not sure how I'm feeling this about this one.
I had a meltdown, not because of it, but
Perfect.
it
But it was,
intersected pretty hard. Let's
yeah,
just say
okay.
it.
Um, and um, and so then, yeah, like, and that's like sparked the conversation. Like, what are we even trying to do here and capture? And for me, part of it is also that, like, we had a really then good conversation back in voice notes about it, you know, um, said some lovely things to each other, like what we actually care about, like our friendship, and not about
Hmm.
this. Um, and and part of what, from the very beginning, when we first started talking about this art project that we thought we could maybe create by like stitching some of our voice notes together, and especially the voice notes that were where there were emotions, and because it was like one of those first, I mean, we now share emotions with each other all the time, but like, but that was like early on when it was like, oh, I feel this, you feel this, like your words are touching me, I'm feeling what you are saying like so deeply.
Hmm.
um that just felt like such a special thing to capture. um and that's part of it. Then to me, it's like the process is part of it too. Like the fact how we had the conversation then about, well, what do we want? Do we want this to be a perfect, whatever that means, conversation that's presented for other people? Or do we want to try to capture something between us and also hit record so that if there's something really juicy and good and interesting that people might see, it's great, but it's also for us. And what I realized today is, and I'm not saying that every time I don't feel great, I want to just hit record and like capture that, but I'm feeling like emotionally tender today. You are the person who I reached out to um, earlier, um, when then another friend checked in with me, and I was able to say, actually, I'm already taken care of. Like, was so nice to be able to say, and so it just feels like this is also part of the magic that I want to capture.
Hmm.
Um, of just still being in space together, and what is it like when we're not feeling on top of a game, because what even does that mean, and do we need to be on top of a game to have a good conversation, and what does that mean?
Hmm.
that's that's my long intro. Where my head is at, and so I'm curious to hear thoughts.
Yeah. I want to orient myself
to everything you just said and to this moment by also just reflecting for a minute on last week, because I really had a meltdown, and it was not in response to our recording. I suspect it was on the way. And then how weird I felt after we recorded was like an early data point of like, something's off with me. I'm not, wait a minute, what's going on? And then the next day it was like, oh, okay, I see. I was like headed for a crash. And I told you I was feeling really insecure about our recording, but then, yes, then we proceeded to, I guess earlier this week, have these like long voice note back and forths, which that's normal for us. But like we were going back and forth about what happened last week and how weird I felt afterwards and how worried I was about disappointing you and how I didn't want to let you down with this like, these like recordings that we're doing. And we ended up having this like really wonderful interaction about what we need and what we want and what matters and what doesn't matter. And it is strange and meaningful to me to notice that some of the most important things that we said, we got there from me kind of losing my shit and then saying some things to you that I was really nervous to say and felt a lot of shame about.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's like fascinating to me that this experiment, like going poorly, an instance of it going poorly, created something, at least between you and I, like so valuable and illuminating and instructive. And that is being a human is so weird. Being a human in relation with another human is so weird.
Oh God, it's so weird.
Being willing to allow vulnerability in that relationship is so weird. It's weird on weird on weird.
Yeah.
And I think that feels tied to this magic that you mentioned of like the magic that we're trying to also capture. Like a kind of like, there's something like raw and unpolished here. I don't know if those are satisfying words to me, but like,
it's so interesting. It's my brain is just so different today from how it normally is. It's like so much more quiet in there. Where normally it's like, ooh, you could say this or this or this, so spark all the different things. And is that what we're trying to capture? Is like that raw, vulnerable human connection? And I don't know if raw and vulnerable is just the only thing, because I can also, because sometimes we have these really weird, interesting like riffs on like some random topic that's just like ding 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 ding, and so that's like, that would be, I don't, I think the magic isn't just in the weird kind of feelings what happens between two people, but it's maybe the different things that happen between different people, but also how it relates to topics and talking about things, or I don't know. Because there's something about like for me, I think at least, the allowing access into what's happening in my brain in the moment or in our brains at the moment. That just happens better in conversation than a rambly voice note. So it's like both the relational aspect, but also sometimes the fascinating stuff that happens when you relate to each other on a topic, and the interesting things that just spark. Including the weirdness of how, like, I'm trying so hard to like take the audience out of it and not think about what other people might want to see or not see, but that's interesting to me. To even the way we're talking about, like, I mean, I don't ever listen to a podcast or watch something where people talk like this, like the way we are right now.
Yeah.
But it's also a lot more real than any, I don't want to say than any recorded conversations I've ever had, but what is it about because you said raw and unpolished, like what's special about that? And I know you said those are your last 5 words, but
It's such a good question. What's special about that? I mean, on like a bigger level, I think what's special about that is like society is increasingly made up of polished performative spaces, and I think like I don't know, like daring to have a conversation that is operating very differently and has like long awkward pauses between when either of us are talking, you know, it's like there's something about that that's like feels subversive in like an important way. And I don't mean to be like, look at us, we're doing this like radical thing, but like there is just something about like, oh, I just like need more spaces like this.
yeah,
I was gonna say I like need permission, but it's like more, it's like before permission. It's like I need prompting. I need to like see what conversations can look like. I need to see what it can look like to navigate interactions. I need to see what it can look like to attend to oneself, not just privately, but while trying to navigate an interaction with someone else. Like the word scaffolding keeps like popping into my mind here, and it's just a word I really like, so maybe it's always there, but there's some sense of like, because I keep trying to think, well, why are we hitting record? Why, like we must think something is valuable here for other people. And I just keep thinking there's like a scaffolding that is like helpful to see, to be reminded of, I don't know, to know that it's possible. Am I like genuinely, am I making any sense? I don't know.
to me you are, but I'm also laughing because I don't like the word scaffolding, and I've never been able to figure out like what do I not like about it, because I like what it does, the concept of scaffolding, but the word I don't like. So
Like
every time I read it, I'm like, ugh.
Like sonically, do you not like the sound?
I think it doesn't make sense to me. Like I can't. It's like I know what it means, but it just doesn't. It's almost like the word doesn't match what it means in some way, and I can't explain it. But it's somehow
Interesting.
I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe I should look up like where it came from, like the origins of the word. You know, maybe that would make a bit more sense and then be easier to see. But I don't know. Yes.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, it makes me curious what the German word is for it. And
you're asking me on the wrong day.
don't
know.
And also, truthfully, I mean, I because I'm like, why do I like that word so much? I think about it a lot in terms of writing a poem. Like, I often feel like this happens for me a lot. The first few lines or the first even stanza of a poem are often just the scaffold. I don't know that at the time. I don't I think I'm just starting the poem. And then when you're sort of on the other side of it, you realize, oh, I can get those first 4 lines were just there to get me started. That's not the building. That's the thing you put up so that you can get on top of it and make the building. It's like the thing you need to make the thing you need. And it comes down at the end. But also, just to complicate the metaphor, sometimes the scaffolding is sort of as pleasing to look at as the building. And sometimes I want to leave the scaffolding up. Or sometimes it turns out I don't even care about the building. I just like all these metal poles and how the sun glints off of them. So there, so that's my context.
I love when you do this and you just get like poetic for a minute. Okay, this is like so diverging, but maybe we can bring it back in a moment. But how is scaffolding different from a container in your mind? And feel free to like stick with that poetry example, because I think that's a good, that makes sense to you and that translates to
Mm-hmm. Well, the scaffolding is like, or the container is bigger than the poem. It's bigger than the page. It's bigger than the materials. It's like the container you set up in which to play and make and build things. I feel like that's more of like an ecosystem. That is like a larger shape that one is held by. And scaffolding within that container goes up and then down and then up and then down. Maybe it's up for a long time. Maybe you're downtown Portland and you swear that building has had that scaffolding up the entire time you've lived here, which means it's been up for 12 years and they're never going to take it down. And it's just part of like, but it feels like a component within a container.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I see it in my mind. So what is then some of the scaffolding? And I hope this is okay, I'm asking you the questions, like feel free to at any point just like turn around and be like, you're asking me too many questions. What does scaffolding for these recordings, these conversations, what's the scaffolding, but also what needs scaffolding, I guess?
It feels very connected to the many moments when we are sending voice notes and acknowledging that we're getting really meta, which I know happens a lot. And I think also you and I are both like just prone to.
And we enjoy it.
And we enjoy it. And I think we could get meta about anything, like, if challenged. But I think I'm starting to be like, I don't know what language is. I don't know how to put this in language any further. I think it is like when I'm saying, I don't know how I feel about our call last week. And then you're saying, that's okay. We don't have to do anything with it. The conversation doesn't just end there. Then we like talk about how it feels to be telling you that and you're sharing how it feels to be receiving that. It's almost like do you like the word skeleton? Maybe there's something about like the skeleton. It's like there's some sense that we're not just staying on the surface of things. Like we're peeling the thing back and we're acknowledging what we're doing in real time and how it feels. And that's really meaningful because sometimes, to stick with an example, it's like, I become aware that I need to tell you, hey, there's going to be weeks where I'm not going to want to record and I'm not going to have access to that knowing until the last minute. I'm not going to know sooner. I'm going to tell you last minute. And I feel terrible shame about that and don't want to disappoint you. And then that thing that happens where that thing that I think is going to push you away actually brings you closer.
Yeah.
And then we're talking all about that. And what that means and how that it's like the layers of everything. I think that's where we're building all this scaffolding. And I guess, I mean, I don't know. I think I reach for a lot of like architectural language or something, because there is this sense of like structure and sturdiness. Whatever it is, whether it's scaffolding or not, it is a thing that makes me feel safe, that makes me feel like I can go to the top of the building and there's this thing that's going to hold me up there.
Yeah. What I'm hearing, or like the way, it's not just like what I'm hearing, but what I'm taking, and I'm also at the edge of my language, but that's okay. But it was great because I just had all these visuals as you were speaking, so that's why this language is like really helpful sometimes, just to think about the building. Because then maybe what we're saying is, we might not need to know exactly what kind of magic we are trying to capture. We might not need to know exactly what this is going to look like in 3 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, a year from now. But that we are, building it in real time, and we're right now starting with the scaffolding. But like, and so this is why I think it sounds different from the container, because the container would sound to me like we have a Google Doc and we write down all of the things that we could be doing, and we have topic ideas, and we kind of create, think about what could all go into it, and we structure it in certain ways. But doing it in real time, it feels more like scaffolding, right? That we're building up something here, even if it's not like we're starting to put something up, building something, even if this might be the final building, and it might turn into something completely different, and we might just tear this down at some point, and then there might be something else. But the actual doing it, instead of thinking about doing it.
Yes.
Like writing a poem, maybe. Right?
Yeah.
You have to just start writing the poem and stop thinking about writing the poem.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm sure some poets sit down and say, I'm gonna write a poem about the sky. It's like that. I've never been able to like think about creating in that way. And I think what's important in all of this is like we don't know the thing we're building. We have trust or faith or a mix of the two, that we're willing to build it without knowing. Like that there's this sense, and I think that is like both like the more artistic and interesting way to make things. And not to like be too this about it, but I also think there's a way that this also ties into like us thinking about the work we do as coaches and mentors and things, like because we create these containers, and then it's like there's so many places we're going to go with people, and you don't know, you can't anticipate. I think it's maybe really valuable in life to have these containers, these relationships, these opportunities where there's just enough structure in which you can be really uncertain about what's going to happen. There's like just enough parameters and not too many, and it takes logistics, and it takes trust, it takes emotional shit, it takes like tangible shit. Tell me what is coming up for you as I say that.
The way what's coming up, but it's like but you like an agenda.
I do.
Like the way you were talking about how magical it is sometimes to just have the space and see what happens when you have faith, trust, curiosity, and also you are somebody who likes an agenda.
I like an agenda, but I mean, my partner of 12 years might be the only other person in this world genuine. I mean, maybe there's one or two more, but like there's not a lot of people who I would hop on a call with like this,
Mm-hmm.
with as little of an agenda as we had, and still feel safe enough to do this. Like I do think that's again where it comes back to like what we have established between us,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can do this thing right now, which I'm experiencing as pretty wild and spontaneous.
Yeah.
And it's like, but there's some established stuff.
Yeah. This reminds me too that there's something important that you said in a voice note earlier, because you also said I only have so much capacity, but I'm feeling pretty unmasked today. And that was I clocked that too to say, ooh, this is another good reason to record.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is quite special. Like, it is quite special to be doing this, hopping on a call like this, where I'm also, yep, exactly the way I am today. But it's also because like that relational piece again. Like because I was thinking this too. I've been on, I've joined meetings sometimes and even shared that some other like, yep, here's where my headspace is not great today. Just I need some more thinking time today. I'm a bit, I might turn camera off or whatnot. But I don't have to just like advocate for my whatever I need so much
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
with you, because you already do the check-in in so much already, and because we know each other so well at this point, and because you know the backstory of why I feel the way I feel today.
Yeah.
And it just makes everything just easier.
Yeah.
And that's just so nice. Nice is such a boring word, but
Or maybe this is the one time where the word nice has really earned its meaning. It's like, yeah, it's really nice. It's
yeah,
really nice.
like lovely, maybe. I don't know. Somebody made fun of me today for using the word lovely, but I also find it lovely. Yeah,
Really?
go use that look. Yes.
I really want to
That
try.
was a random side comment.
No, I'm genuinely shocked. I think lovely is a lovely word.
Yeah.
I want to try to put something into language here, because I feel like I'm having just like a kind of a realization, and it has to do with relationships. The reason I knew I was having an unmasked day was not because I just spontaneously knew that about myself. I don't really experience self-knowing in that way. I had I'm part of this like group that's meeting weekly all month of like artists and writers, like a practice circle group. And today was our first call. There's like 9 of us. It's a small number, like really lovely people. All like women and queer people, and we had to introduce ourselves. And I hate introducing myself in a group space. You've been on the receiving end of plenty of panicked voice notes from me. And when it was my turn to introduce myself, first of all, I volunteered to go like second, because I was just like, I'm sitting here nervous and this is going to get worse. I'm going to go. Something about being able to make that choice in real time versus like the nerves was really helpful. And then the first thing I said before I even said my name was just, I feel really shy about introducing myself right now. And then I just proceeded to introduce myself, and I could hear that my voice sounded nervous. It was shaking a little. I was like, okay, you said you're nervous. You mean it. You're nervous. But then the longer I talked, because there were a couple of things we had to say, I felt the nervous, shaky part die down, and I felt my voice change in pitch a little. And I was like, okay, good. You got through it. And that was that. It's like, oh, that's that one dumb little thing on a different day. I could not have, there's so many micro choices I made and so many things I was capable of to do that dumb little thing that took me like 3.5 minutes out of my day. It's how I knew I was unmasked.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've had this story for a long time, and I think it's true, which is like, I can like lose myself with people.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm starting to realize, and what is so bizarre to me, is like, but I also like figure things out about myself with other people.
Mm-hmm.
There are like things that I don't know about my needs or how I am until I am in a space that is, again, like safe enough, clear enough, loving enough. And there's that just the innate neutral friction of being in relationship with someone, and you like figure a thing out about yourself. And I feel like our friendship, here's where it all comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Our friendship, this relationship, the scaffolding, whatever it is, it's like supercharged. We have so much of it.
Yeah.
And it's such a good friendship that I feel like I am learning things about myself like multiple times a week.
Yes. Same.
From-
I mean, yes. Same.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also part of the magic.
Yeah, and I love, the parallel here to, the scaffolding and the what we're building and doing it in real time, because yes, it's one of the ways that our friendship is so unique, in the way we have from the very beginning been very explicit about a lot of things, asking a lot of questions, naming things. Yeah, and I can think of so many moments with it, like that learning is happening. Like, the other day when you sent me something and I started to get nervous right away, because you kind of give me background on something, which is like totally fine to do. And right away it's like, oh no, what's happening? Like, I just felt myself just get so like nervous. I'm gonna be rejected, and I'm gonna like, the worst fears. I'm gonna be abandoned and left alone. And what you said was like, it wasn't even, there was nothing, like, it was all my own stuff that came up, but like that was like but then, oh gosh, words again. But then immediately my thoughts kicked in saying, no, you're safe here. Like, you're safe in this relationship. This is good. And that knowing of, no, you're safe here, didn't just come from, it came from all of that, the way we have, really built it, right? Like, that there we are with the scaffolding and the building again. Somewhat intentionally, but also playfully, and just like by being curious and just like stepping into.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is there anything? It feels, I don't want to say like ending, or like we are, I don't know if we've concluded anything, but also we didn't set out to conclude anything. Is there anything that comes to your mind that is like, what's the question you always use that's like bubbling to the surface.
Mm. Yeah, anything lingering
Yeah.
that wants to be said before
Yep.
we close out? I don't think so. I think I wanted. I'm pleased that I was able to find language for what I just shared, because that I felt like if I didn't say it right then, it was gonna be gone forever. No, I don't think so, because I also think we will be talking about this again. I think this is a part of a bigger conversation, so I think it's more like, are we at a good pausing point, you know?
Mhm.
So I guess with that in mind, I'll ask you the same question, like, is there more that wants to be said today?
I like the way you just said a pausing point, because yeah, that just feels so much nicer than an end. Um, no, just that I like what we're doing here, and I like being in the kind of awkwardness of what are we what are we doing here? I don't know, but it's like it's good in some way. It feels good to me, and it's like interesting to me, and and not just intellectually interesting, but it's like an experience. And yeah, so I'm just very curious, I guess, as to what this might turn into without being, and I like this too, without being attached to it. Again, with being attached to
Mm-hmm.
the experience of doing this together, of learning, yeah, again, like learning things about ourselves and each other by doing it. Yeah, we haven't even talked about that bit of that very specific example where you said, again, back to the agenda, I like to have a topic, and I said I don't want to have a topic, and like how are we gonna navigate that? Meet in the middle, find a way, all those nuances, and yeah, like trying different ways and finding out. So yeah, I'm like excited about what's happening, even if the sound, I don't know, I don't care if this sounds like a boring conversation, again, like to other people.
That's
It
not
may or may not, and I don't even want to, yeah, again, part of me wants to just keep it out, but I'm curious about what this is going to turn into, and it's interesting and joyful to just be doing it, whatever it is, the magic.
I agree. And I think it's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Should we hit pause? I mean, literally have to hit end, but
like, yes, let's hit pause.
Pause for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, friend.
Okay. Bye, friend.
Talk later.
Bye.